So I'm not a baker. I don't have, I just haven't ever gotten in the kitchen and gotten excited about mixing up flour and eggs and whatever else you put in cakes. I just don't know anything about making cakes. I've never had a real interest in it. I don't eat a lot of cake. I'm not a big sweets fan, so maybe that's got something to do with it. But I'm not a baker. But I do believe that if you're a baker and if you go get all the ingredients and you get us the same pots and pans and we're in the kitchen side by side and you've got all the measuring cups and you've got a great recipe and side by side you go through the recipe with me and we do all the steps together and I watch you and you're instructing me and I'm doing as you're saying, I believe that when it's all said and done, your cake and my cake are going to be pretty much the same. Okay. And maybe that's naive of me because I don't know. Maybe there's skills with how you whip things up. Maybe those sort of things may make a difference. But I think for the most part that I could probably get. I'm not going to screw it up. I'm not going to end up. You're not going to end up with a carrot cake, and I'm going to end up with a Hostess cream pie if I follow your directions. If that makes sense. I'm Coach Bobby Brown with Sober Life Right. What I do is I help people live amazing lives free from drugs and alcohol. I'm also a man in long-term recovery, which means for me that today I live my own amazing life, and I do that without drugs and alcohol. It's been that way since July 22nd, 2021. I'm going through the book, The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. This has been a top 5 book in my life. It is an absolute encyclopedia of steps that successful people take and apply in their lives to be successful. I first read this book about 5 years ago. And by the way, please check this book out. If you don't have it, if you like actual books, I've got my copy somewhere. I've got my copy very doggone right here. I'm putting a link in the comments or description. Please go buy the book. I am an Amazon affiliate, so I do get a small commission from that. But I really just want to see this book in as many people's hands as possible because it's had such a huge impact in my life. Today's principle is, we're on chapter 9, principle 9, success leaves clues. Okay. I can get real caught up in the things I'm doing in this crazy idea that I have to figure it all out on my own. You know, I started Sober Life Right about 3.5 years ago is when the first seed of the idea was planted. I knew that my addiction had basically ran a wrecking ball through my life. Let me not downplay this a bit. I was bankrupt in every sense of the word. My personal relationships were crap. I damaged relationships with my entire family. I was physically, my health, I was 40 pounds underweight. I was sick. I was spiritually wasn't praying. I had no connection with any kind of God or higher power. It was all very definitely selfish thoughts and what crazy selfish thoughts. What did I need in the moment? Mental health was so bad that I thought about suicide. These things were it was, when I say bankrupt, I mean, it was imagine a huge wrecking ball just taking a building and just crumbling it to the ground. All right. And with that, there was some pretty powerful stuff, by having everything at a zero. I now had the opportunity to build things up exactly how I wanted to. And coming across this book, it kind of gave me that recipe, on how to build a cake, I'll kind of touch on some of the things that we've kind of gone through so far. And I love how Jack Canfield has kind of built this there is a plan in place on how to build a successful life. Okay. It starts with accountability. You have to take 100% responsibility for your life. You can't control the things that are happening, but how you react to it, it can determine your outcome. And if your reaction that you have is not getting the outcome you want, then try a different reaction. You have to have some sort of sense of purpose. You've got to know why you're here, like what is driving you. I think that ties in for me, my spiritual. Why am I doing recovery coaching? Why do I think that I am? What makes me think that I have something that somebody else wants and is willing to pay for? And for me, that was a spiritual thing. I felt a tremendous responsibility to take the gift that I got, to be able to get out of all that, to be able to be so close to it all being over. When I say like it was close, I remember riding a bike down the road in the middle of the night thinking, as cars are going by, I could just drive right in front of a truck and that would be it. Like it was that close. I've had situations where crazy drug-induced mind, I put myself in situations where I've had guns put in my head. And all it would take is just that one split second and I'm dealing with other crazy people here. It could have been over. So I feel like this huge responsibility to make some sense of all that. I remember phone calls from my mom, and I remember my mom asking me one time on the phone, like this is in the middle of like active addiction, just crazy, homeless, walking around, and my mom asking me if I had ID on me because she wanted to make sure if something happened that they could identify my body. And at the time I was so crazy, like it was humorous to me that she would ask this. There's no way. But if I look back on the things I was doing now, what a valid question. Like I was not in this place where it was like I was okay. So like I felt responsibility to do something with it. And I feel like for me, I believe in God. I believe that, I'm 50 years old, that God has given me a wealth of talents through mentors and life experience and education to be able to do some things. I am able to communicate. I'm able to get here on camera and talk for 12 to 15 minutes. I don't like, this is a skill that has developed over a period of time. I don't have to think. I don't script these out. I don't go to the internet. I don't have ChatGPT write something for me. Like this is just me talking. That is a skill that I have developed over the years that God has given me opportunities to build. And so I feel an obligation to try and help as many people as I can through sharing my message. I believe that's what we're here for. So the way I do that as a coach has a lot to do with this chapter. There's a lot of stuff I don't know. There's so much more stuff I don't know than what I do know. What I do know, though, is how to go from being bankrupt in every sense of the word and to build very strategic, amazing life. And that didn't happen for me. That did not include, let me go get the best paying job and let me go get rich again. I've tried that. I tried that in 2019, very quickly got back to a 6-figure income doing a field that I loved. And first time I was in a situation where I was presented with drugs, and 90 seconds later I was in a full-blown relapse again. So for me, part of that strategic plan is focusing on my spiritual and mental health first, getting a solid ground in recovery. And I have tested and tried ways to do this. When I say I've tried everything in recovery, like I haven't tried everything, but I've tried a lot. I've taken a lot of suggestions, some of them really freaking weird. I've tried a lot of different pathways, and I've found things that have worked. I found best practices. And as a coach, one of the big things that we do is we help people come up with plans, okay? I have the clues. You don't have to figure this out alone. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You know, you're sitting there and you've made this decision that, okay, well, my life's not good drinking or using drugs, so I should probably stop. But what now? You don't have to like figure that all out on your own. And I'm not saying that I have all the answers. I have a lot of the answers. But more importantly, I have a community of resources around me. I have built a huge network of other people recovering. And I've been given the talent of being willing to just talk to them and ask for help. So if there's something that you're trying to do, like, odds are, if I don't know the answer, I can find it for you. I do know how to find answers. And we can come up with a plan that's going to help you not just stop drinking and using drugs. I mean, that's great. And I think that that's definitely where you should start. But like, building a life that's so amazing that it would be ludicrous to just go to even think about going back to it. And I think that is the key to long-term sobriety, and as much as you can control on it. I also believe that you have no control whether or not you're going to be sober or not. I believe it's a God thing. I believe it's a God thing for me. I absolutely believe I woke up sober this morning because it serves God's purpose and it is part of God's will. If tomorrow it would serve his long-term purpose that I relapse for whatever reason, I need to show somebody an example, there's somebody out there still suffering that I'm supposed to interact with and change their life, all these reasons that it could happen, then it would. What I get to do today is show up and show my gratitude for the gift that I've already been given by trying to help as many people as I can. And my hope is that by doing these videos consistently and following the recipe for building a following and building this, that eventually someday there's going to be millions of people that see this and it makes an impact. And somebody gets some hope and some encouragement that if you're out there and you're suffering and you feel like there's no way out, that there is, and that it's okay, and that you can be okay, and that you don't have to drink or use drugs again, and that your life can be amazing without it. You don't need them to have an amazing life. You just got to learn new stuff. You got to learn how to live an amazing life. And I can teach you that. So I hope this helps somebody. Please, all the things that are going to help me reach more people, please like, please subscribe, please comment, please check out and buy the book. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you feel like you are ready to take some further steps and you're ready to have somebody stand beside you and bake that cake, and you resonate with me, then DM me cake in the comments. Just put cake in the comments and I'll reach out to you, and let's just set up a time to talk and see what we can't do.